And I'm just going to say a little bit about me and why I'm here. I have a company called Intuit Health, and my mission is to help people understand how they can have happier, healthier, easier lives, full of joy. We tend to move through life and do things that we think we have to do, but we don't want to do them. You know, that feeling you wake up in the morning and you just don't want to do what you have to do because you think you have to do it. Well, I want to help support people to change their lives so that they can wake up in the morning, decide what they want to do, and be able to do that to sustain themselves and then have a joyful life. So today we were going to talk about dream interpretation, what dreams mean. What dreams mean, if they mean anything. Sometimes to people they mean something and other people that they don't. To me, it's very, very important. Almost too important sometimes, because I really, my life is driven sometimes by the dreams that I have. I used to have my ex-husband it wasn't a very good marriage, so we would fight a lot, and I would dream a lot about him and then be really pissed off in the morning at him for what he did in my dreams. And I don't know if anybody else has had that experience, but it was kind of a joke in our marriage, because I would wake up and be angry already at him, and he didn't do anything except what he did in my dreams. So Becky, as far as your dream life, do you have a practice? Do you have a routine with working with your dreams? Is it something that you do? Do you journal about your dreams? Right. Yeah. When I want to dream about something, I'll write it down before I go to bed. It's like, instilling what I want into my energy. And then when I get up, anytime, whether it's the middle of the night or the morning, I always write down my dreams. It was funny. I was writing on my blog last night about dreams too. And there was a couple of different things that when I wake up, I don't know if you do this, but when I wake up, sometimes I'll have to grab someone. Everybody around me knows that I do this, to be able to talk out my dream, so that I hear the words about the dream, and then sometimes I'll hear in my words clues of what the dream was about or what the dream was meant for. And then you have that strange moment, it comes out of your mouth and you go, oh my God, this is what it's about, right? Does that happen to you? I see you put yes. For now, it looks like it's just you and I here. So you can tell by or I don't know what you see. Okay. Yeah, it's just you and I. If we can try this, and if it doesn't work, then we can stop.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, that's way better.
It's easier. I'm like going like a mile a minute trying to type, but
I know.
No, I've been trying to write down my dreams. Hadley, honey, you need to go get clothes on if you want to look at this camera. My children like to run around me.
No, well, I want to say this in I don't know if I've ever said it before on the video, but I'm very kid friendly. The reason I do this, or I'm working on starting this business, is because I want to be with my kids, and that's my priority. Mm-hmm. So kids are absolutely 100% all over the place welcome. Okay, so cool. Don't worry about it.
They'll probably do that. I'm just going to try to get them to get dressed.
That's okay. And it's just you and I right now. So, sometimes there's a couple people, and then all of a sudden people will show up. So don't worry.
But yeah, I journal. It's funny because there'll be times when I don't remember my dreams at all. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, boom, they're crazy and they're intense and they're vivid. And I find I have a 14-month-old too, and he doesn't really get up in the middle of the night anymore, but when he used to, it was like I was waking up at that time in the middle of the night with him, where I was in that is it theta state or something, where you were
that real deep REM sleep.
yeah. So I would wake up and I was like, oh my God. But then when I wouldn't write it down, I'd wake up again in the morning and completely lost it.
Yeah. Have you ever, you wake up from your dream and you think, there's no possible way I can forget this?
Yes.
And then
there's been dreams that I actually remember from childhood.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So do you have, how do you interpret them for yourself?
I try to. I personally believe in past lives, like really strongly. And I know that some of the dreams that I've had have been past life related. So those tend to stick out more for me. But like these last few nights, I've had a few dreams that seem to be bigger in symbolism. And I've been trying to kind of go through it and think of, you know, what each thing could mean. So I'm trying to do that, but you know, it's difficult sometimes with things you see.
Yeah, that's very true. If you want, while we're here, because what I do is I take these videos and hope that they're interesting enough for other, you know, to listen to after for people. So if you want to, while we're here, go through some of your dream and maybe we can work it out together.
Okay.
To see if you have time with your, you know, with your tribe behind you.
Yeah, no, that would be fun. That would be really cool.
All right.
Let's see which one. There's two that there's one that I had. I'm wondering which one would be better. There's one that I had not last night, but I think it was 2 nights ago, where my husband and my family and we moved into this apartment. And I remember vividly the way it looked. Like the kitchen had these really beautiful cabinets and granite countertops. But we had just moved in, and then we decided to move to another apartment. So it was weird. So everything was still in boxes, and we're in the process of moving. And I remember seeing a Christmas tree. The Christmas tree was still up and it was lit. So that was like the last thing that we had.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And then we had a separate room where everything was in there. Like all these boxes that had been unpacked were all in there. And so I'm like, oh, well, this will be easy. Everything's still packed up. So
they were still in boxes.
Yeah, everything was still in boxes except for that Christmas tree. The Christmas tree was lit up and it was right out in like what was supposedly the living room. And in the dream, I forgot to lock the door. And I didn't think about it. I was like, oh, we're moving. I don't need to lock the door. You know, we don't have anything here. Well, I went back to go finish getting things, and I remembered that I hadn't locked the door, and it was open a little bit. And I went into the kitchen, and there was graffiti everywhere.
What's graffiti mean?
It's like colorful words.
Oh, crap.
Well, yeah, so there was graffiti everywhere, and some of it was like really profane sayings and just... I remember this too. On the front door that had been left open, there was 3 X's. And to me, in the dream, I felt like, well, that's somebody telling other people that this house is open.
No, say that again because it blanked out for 2 seconds. You said in the dream I found 3
X's on the door. They were etched on the front door.
Ooh, that gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
What?
And then...
and that was on the door that was partially open.
And it felt like it was a way for whomever came into our apartment to let other people know that it was open, if that makes sense.
And that's what you felt in the dream.
Yeah, that's the meaning that I felt then.
And somebody
Hey.
knocks on the door.
Huh?
When somebody knocks on the door, remember?
Yeah, that was a different one, I think.
Yeah.
And then after that, we moved everything. It's a long dream, sorry.
It's okay. We're just hanging out. It's fine. I'm glad to hear. Because I was just thinking to myself, geez, usually there's all kinds of people. So this is just for you and me right now. Like, I try not to think like, crap, there isn't more people. You know, I'm trying to think on the other side that this is just for you and me to do right now.
Cool.
So it's good.
Okay, cool. So then after that, you know, I felt a little worried, and I remember a nervous feeling kind of coming into the dream. And you know, I figured, well, we're moving into a new apartment, so it's okay. I'll call the apartment complex and I'll tell them somebody broke in and they, you know, basically tore up the apartment. Because I was afraid that we would be held responsible for it. So in this new apartment, it was supposed to be bigger and it was supposed to be better. But then we found that there was actually a lot of crime that happened here. And it was in the same apartment building. That's the weird thing. It was like the next apartment over. And I remember walking through this area. No, Hadley. Walking through this area. It was like a corridor. And it was right on the street. And the street looked really rough. Like it was a street you might walk on. And as we're in the apartment, as we were moving in, we heard a knock on the door, and I was like, I'm not opening that. I don't know who that is. And then all of a sudden, the handle started turning like somebody had a key. And a person that was with us, I don't know who it was out of the blue, this person was there. He starts to explain to us that the people here in this apartment actually will go to lengths of copying the lock and making keys so they could break into your apartment. So it was way more dangerous. It was very bizarre. And I opened the door, and it was this older gentleman with a large belly. And he was intoxicated or something, and he tried to get in, and I said, no, what are you doing? You can't do this. This is our apartment. You can't come in here. And he was looking for something. So I slammed the door, and then that was it.
You're fat.
He had a big belly.
Fat booty.
What are you doing?
Put a magic stuff on you.
Hadley. Come on, let's go.
So before like I even look at the dream, at the end of the dream, I'm just gonna like throw you some of what I'm hearing intuitively. Mm-hmm. At the end of the dream, it feels like you have you been making changes recently in your life to be more in the light, like trying, do you know what I mean? Like being more in the light and practicing more positively, or maybe thinking more positively.
Yeah.
Kind of like you're leaving some of the darkness that was in your past and moving into the light.
Yes. I've always dealt a lot with but my whole life I've always kind of dealt with I don't want to say darkness, but growing up, my mother was a psychic, and she always had the darker spirits kind of around her because of her light. And I feel like, you know, I've had dreams where I fight demons and just really crazy dark dreams, and I had been having a lot of those dark dreams about a month ago. Yeah. So it really is, it's kind of like closing that door. And actually, wow, now that you say that, it's kind of all making sense, because as I was having, why?
Because you're a witch.
Because I'm a witch. I love you. So as I had those dark dreams, like really dark end of days, scary.
Yep, I've had the same thing. I know exactly what you mean.
Yes, really intense. I actually had a very profound experience where I had a dream about just light, just light and love. And yeah, maybe that's kind of signifying that I'm moving away from that other stuff.
When did you have that dream? The light.
Oh
dream?
man, I went crazy and I wrote about it because after the dream I had a really intense experience with a spirit. Oh my God, it was before Christmas, may have even been before Thanksgiving. It was around like the end of November. I don't remember the exact day, but it was around then.
Yep.
Mhm.
So to me, all of this and I have to tell you, when I work with people, when I start like working with other people's stuff, it always mirrors back to me. It's like this really secret trail of like other people's stuff mirrors back to me and helps me at the same time. So I think it's really, really cool that we're talking and that like what you're saying is resonating with me too, because we have like some of the same stuff going on. So one of the first things that comes to mind too is, and you probably already have a practice of doing this, but it would really, I think, be a good thing for you to practice protection for yourself.
Yeah.
But not really because you need to protect yourself from what's outside of you, but more about protecting yourself from yourself, your own imagination, your own musings that go on in your head that can create real stuff.
Yeah, no, it's true.
If
yeah.
that.
It's true because I
So if you set
times that I think I'm a little too grounded sometimes, which makes it difficult if I do get into a bad mood or I'm feeling a little low. And I know energy. We can create that energy and turn things into manifesting things. So you're right. You're totally right about that.
Yeah.
A scary dream, like one of those.
You did?
Yeah, remember I told you when it was almost Thanksgiving?
Yeah, my daughters have a lot of interesting dreams too. Do you want to go get dressed and you can talk? You have to get dressed though.
Okay. All right, I'm going to just look at the words I wrote down and see if I can get you more. Well, the first thing with the moving, like with your moving and your boxes unpacked. Oh, it's kind of cool. So you haven't quite found your comfort level in this, like feeling very positive and very safe and happy, and like that you're allowed to be happy and be safe and be in the light, and that you can have, and this is another one that might resonate, that you can be happy and have fun in the light.
That is so
right?
True. I don't know. I don't know if it's just my personality. I'm a Cancer, and I'm a double moon in Cancer. I'm a moon and a sun in Cancer. So I find that I'm very, what's the word I'm looking for? Serious a lot of time. And I find it hard. There's sometimes where it's difficult because I take on everybody else's emotions around me, and I have a really hard time sometimes with getting out of that. In those moments, I definitely, I've even like remember saying to myself, like, I don't know how to have fun anymore. Like, I feel like I'm this
like, and the whole like Christmas tree thing, that it's all like your light is already there. Your light is already shining. It's already set up. Like your stuff is already set up. You just haven't gotten yourself into a place where you're comfortable. And also the graffiti.
Yep.
So I'm hearing it's written on the wall. What? what's that saying? It's written on the wall, or
Dreams.
Yeah, hold on.
the the writing's on the wall, right? That's
Yeah.
a saying.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's your own self, kind of.
Ellie,
That's
put
awesome.
Ken down.
That's your own self sabotaging. That's your own self sabotage.
Yeah.
You know, the graffiti and the X, the marks on the door.
Yeah.
That's part of your feeling that some of the negative stuff that happens is inevitable. Like that, it's almost. Do you ever have the feeling because of your genetics or because of your heredity that you're just the way things are the way things are because that's how it's been in your mother's life and maybe your grandmother's
Yeah.
life?
Wait, Sadie. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's good to know that you have the power to create something new now.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's already created, I should say. It's already there. You've already planted the seed. The tree's already there. The lights are already there. You just need to unpack your stuff and feel comfortable. And for some reason, you're not feeling comfortable and safe. And you feel like no matter what you do, or this is what it feels like, no matter what you do, something negative is always going to like show up. So hold on, because I'm just talking from my mouth. I'm hearing things, but let me just focus for a second.
No, sweetie, not yet. Girl.
I think that maybe some of your fear in the dream is maybe the foundation is some of your reality because of your empathic abilities.
Yeah.
You can tell me, but do people gravitate to you that are kind of needy and need stuff, want your help?
Yes. Yeah.
And maybe people that no matter what you do, no matter how much help you give them, it's not going to change their situation because you're trying to change it instead of them.
Yes. And that's what I've been trying to work on a lot is, you know, I can give them my best advice and what I feel and see, but I think I get frustrated because I do have a lot of people in my life like that where I'm like, I can see it, I can see their bigger picture, and I'll communicate it, but then it's just very weighing.
Right. Because you're doing their work for them.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you visualize this Christmas tree, because this is what I'm seeing in my head, you visualize this Christmas tree. Imagine you're the trunk of the tree.
Okay.
And all of the branches are your protection and your light is all within. So because what I see is these negative people pushing in on your branches, getting too close to the trunk of the tree.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
So it's kind of squishing your light. So if I don't know how you feel about like working with your energy, if you know how that feels, but if you raise your energy and let your energy and your light like expand to I would practice that a lot because it feels like because of your sensensitivity, sometimes people around you will push will push in your almost like steal your light, steal the stuff from you.
Yes, because I do feel a lot of times I just feel so drained energy wise, and I think that's right. It's because it's being sucked out of me.
Yep. And you might want to just repeat to yourself, like I recognize what's mine and what's theirs. And, you know what I mean? So you can keep, because I had to do that for a really long time because of, the work I do, I'm always in people's stuff. And I had to really work on.
Sorry.
Oh.
Very dramatic little loves. No,
I had to really work on my stuff. Right.
It wasn't nice of her to pinch you, honey.
Oh.
I know. Well, she's 3 and she does crazy things. Here you go, Hadley. You can put these on, okay? Put that on. Yeah, no, I think that's been one of my biggest challenges is remembering where my stuff stops and another person's begins. Because it's same thing with spirits, because a lot of times I'll dream about these spirits that are just kind of honey, that are just around, and I pick up on their stuff. So it's just all around kind of training.
What do you do with that information? You know, if there's a spirit around you, how do you handle that?
Well, a lot of times it'll be like random spirits, so I'll just write it down to see if it makes sense later. But there'll be times too where people I've gone to school with, or people I know now or in the past, their loved ones will come through, and I'm like the weird person that writes them, and I'm like, well,
I do the same thing.
Just so you know. So people are like, okay.
I know. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. You're like, I'm sorry, this is gonna be really random, but
I know, and you feel like you have to do it.
Otherwise it's crazy. It nags me. It drives me crazy.
Yes.
Get dressed.
Yes. I had this crazy experience. This might be too much information, but it was kind of really weird. There's this friend of mine that I have that was part of a paranormal, he ran this paranormal group that I consulted as a medium. And we've always stayed friends for quite a few years. Yeah. And he had a friend who died just recently in an accident. And we were talking, and even though he's a believer, he's very resistant, and he's of the scientific side, you know, with all the machines wanting to prove everything. And this one morning, he wrote me, and as soon as he wrote me about having this drink with the past friends of the friend who died, this feeling wouldn't leave from me. Like, it was this feeling of this huge love, like so much love, but also this huge sexual energy that was very uncomfortable for me, because we don't have, he's married, he's a friend, and you know, we don't have that kind of relationship, but it was so strong. So finally I sat down and asked his friend, what is this about? Mm-hmm. You know, and I wrote this huge letter to him of information from this person who had already, who had left. And until I could get the words all on the paper, every single word I needed to get down, that energy would not go away from me. It was awful. It was this I knew it wasn't mine. Right. And I guess it's that part of me that can't let something go until I'm finished. Yeah. So I couldn't just dismiss the energy. I had to complete the task. Yep. In order for it to be finished. Yep. It was crazy.
It is. It's amazing how Hadley. Stop. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right.
No, that's true. It's, I feel like a lot of times the spirits, if they really have a message to or something that they need to get across, it's just that they make it so it stays with you. No, honey. Because I told you later, okay? I wish we still did nap time in this house. Oh my god. Oh, so sorry.
Well, we can be, that's all right. I think this was the Christina and Becky show today, which is really fun. I have never had a blab that nobody but one person showed up. So I think this is really cool because it was just between you and I,
Yeah, absolutely. I like this. I think it's cool that people can talk like this on the, never heard about this app before, so I like it.
up just about every morning, because what I'm doing, I can't say try because I'm really I am manifesting what I want here. I have a clinic hours that people can walk into a virtual classroom from 12 to 4 for readings like this, whatever they want a reading for.
Yeah.
So it's like 15 minutes, $25, and people can just walk in, just click in on my website. Yeah. But before the clinic hours, I've been doing the Blab show, or whatever you want to call it, each day, just to, get people interested. And also, like, one of my things is to help people understand that all of this stuff isn't crazy, and that, I have so many people I had two yesterday. It was really weird. I had two people. One was from Morocco and one was from like India, or I think. And they were both talking about sleep paralysis.
Really?
Like, yeah, we were talking about ghosts, like seeing ghosts and are they real? And two people came on talking about seeing beings next to their bed or actually holding them down when they're either dreaming or awake.
Yep. I've heard about that before.
So I know I told them to Google it, and because there's crazy, I've Googled it before, so there's crazy pictures of exactly what they explained was happening to them.
It is. I think I read somebody had posted something on Facebook, and it was like a scientific explanation for it, because there's got to be a scientific explanation for everything.
Right.
Which I love, but in some of these cases, you can't really dismiss that with science and saying, oh, it's fine.
Especially when they actually, like, one guy saw the person standing next to his bed when he was awake.
Yes.
Yeah. So and he said, nobody believed me. I just let it go because nobody would believe me. And
yeah,
I want people to know that there's more beyond. Somebody pushed a button. I'm going to keep talking until you come back, unless your phone died. That would be a bummer. Well, I want people to understand that the things that they see and they hear and they feel are possibly real, and not to feel intimidated by other people's judgment or fears around that. So I think our show is done for today. Thank you, Becky, so much. I'm wondering if your phone died, but our conversation was great, and I hope you come again, and I'll talk to you later on. All right, everybody have a great day. My clinic hours are open today, 12 to 4. Just walk in with any questions. It can be about your health. It can be about your emotional status. It can be about job questions that you have, directions. Should I go left or should I go right? Or anything to do with someone who's passed. So I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.